Alright guys, here we are for the February recording, and unlike last time, I do know this one's 2019. We're starting this one off with myself, Cameron, and Raymond, who will now cough for you. Raymond, that's not coughing.
Fuck you. Fuck you, I'm not coughing. You can't tell me what to do. You're not the boss.
And we also have Luke in here.
What's up, y'all?
I said a naughty word, Cameron. We've been demonetized.
Oh god.
That's okay. It's, as far as YouTube is concerned, it's not the focus.
Focus.
The focus is your
fuck.
cough.
Focus is fuck.
Maybe we should stop swearing so heavily.
Ah, fuck. Alright, say no more.
That's out of the system.
Well, I have to get it out of my system. I can't swear at the kids I teach.
Well, there you go.
Well,
He does have some moral high ground.
Of course I have a moral high ground. Always have the high ground.
There's no Anakin's involved.
well. So, does anybody have something they want to start off? What have we got in the news this last month?
I don't know, but I'm really bored of the content on the channel there. It's almost like only one person recorded over the New Year break.
Raymond, you spent the entire last video bagging on some people. Why don't we not do that yet?
Exactly. Let's leave at the end of the video, shall we?
Which one went up? I don't even remember. No, I don't remember how I recorded them.
Well, right now, I think the hottest topic around is Metro's 1-year exclusivity deal with Epic Games.
Sounds good.
So, for those of you that haven't heard, basically the Metro publisher, Deep Silver, pulled the game off of Steam, but will honour all of the pre-orders, but it is now going to be exclusive to the Epic Store for 1 year.
So, hang on. How does that work for people that pre-ordered?
They just get the license, I guess.
Because realistically, wouldn't they bought it as a Steam game?
Yeah, they're going to get... The Steam pre-order will be honoured on the Epic Store.
Oh, really?
So they're just going to transfer all the pre-orders across.
Oh. Well, no harm done, I suppose. Except for
Steam
poor old
has
Steam.
to give their money.
Except for the part where everybody was expecting a Steam game and is now getting a Epic Store game. So if you weren't already playing Fortnite, you now need to go install Epic.
Exactly. We're now
You know what? I fucking thought I was done with Epic.
Oh.
Context is, QUT used to have the guild, and the guild was called Epic.
Oh, God.
Why are they back? This time is a game thing. I don't want it.
You just don't like the word, apparently.
Correct, I don't like words.
Yeah, exactly. What's not like about Epic? Not epic or anything.
Quite a lot of things, actually. Before that word, it has too many syllables.
And now we will discuss nomenclature for the rest of this.
What?
No, let's go back to what we were talking about, please.
Epic.
So, yeah, there's been some massive bite back online about it. People.
Has the developer cracked the shit?
Yeah, one of the developers cracked the shit that there were so many people pissed. Well, they were pissed off that there were so many people pissed off.
Wait, is this developer from the games
Metro.
going to, from Metro?
Yes.
Yeah, one of the developers of Metro has cracked the shit.
Okay, so he's not happy about it.
No, he's unhappy that there is such a massive outcry and the threats of boycotting the game because it's being moved to the Epic Store.
It's almost like people paid for a product on a certain method.
I mean, I can understand
and now they're
that.
not getting it.
That's kind of like if, let's say, Metro took the game from Steam and threw it on GOG. I'd be pretty freaking pissed off.
Hey, GOG is all good.
It is all good. I only have like 2 games on it, but still. That I suppose I can feel for people who probably feel a bit ripped off by it, and I suppose the developers probably shouldn't consider it too much of a.
Yeah.
The thing is, Cam, you said it was a 1-year exclusive deal, right?
Yes.
All these silly billies who apparently are silly, apparently bought this game on Steam. are getting it transferred over to Epic. What's going to happen after a year? Do they have to stay on Epic, or can they transfer their game back to where they originally wanted it, which was Steam?
My understanding is that they then have to stay on Epic.
I just wouldn't buy the game for a year.
I was going to say that would have to make sense, because otherwise Steam would have to somehow be willing to take it back, and I'm sure at that point Steam probably would have so much shit with Epic they probably don't want to have anything to do with even people that are on it. So, who knows what will happen in a year's time.
I had to say my reaction to this was pretty much, well, if I was after Metro that bad, well, if I was after Metro and really wanted it on Steam, I would just wait the year.
Yeah.
It's the same logic I've applied to the Assassin's Creed series now. I love the games, but if I want them, I'll just wait for them to go on sale. I'll pick them up then.
Like, there's enough other stuff that's getting 1 year exclusivity deals that I'm already getting used to the idea of we have to wait a year for the extra fun thing. I have a sneaking suspicion we're about to see that with the Crash Team Racing remake, because if you didn't notice, there's no PC release.
I did remember seeing that. I was quite surprised.
There originally was no PC release for Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah.
Later on, through the development cycle, they then said, "Oh yeah, it's totally coming for PC."
No. There was a 1 year exclusivity deal.
Oh, okay, another one.
Yeah, it was exactly what it was. I'm not sure if it was exactly a year later, but it was close to it. There was actually an exclusivity deal for the trilogy with Sony.
Okay.
And yeah, this seems to be getting very common for 1 year exclusivity deals, and
I don't mind it, but at the same time, I think it's a bit. I like it because it reminds me of the old Xbox, PlayStation games. But the bad thing about back then was that I couldn't play Halo on a PlayStation or a computer.
Yeah, like I understand exclusives for when it's the actual console publisher that bankrolled it. Like, it makes 100% sense for God of War to be a PlayStation 4 exclusive, because Sony wouldn't have bankrolled it if it wasn't. And just like it makes sense for Halo to be an Xbox exclusive, because, again, Microsoft wouldn't bankroll it if it wasn't.
Very true.
But when it's a third-party publisher, why?
Does beg the question.
Because, yeah, I have noticed there's also a bit of DLC out there at the moment that there's a number of games that are having a DLC pack that is exclusive to one console or another for 1 year.
Very interesting. I think it might be becoming the new thing. Be interesting if it is.
It's, and like, I don't know if you guys had heard this one, but Anthem on Xbox will be able to play it earlier than PlayStation if you paid EA enough money, but there's not even the option to do that if you're on PlayStation. It's a Xbox or PC thing.
Alright.
So, interesting times.
Yeah, very interesting indeed.
Or an interesting time.
I like to think I am.
But yeah, speaking of Anthem though, from what I never got around to playing the demo myself, unfortunately. I had a few problems getting it to work, as I know a lot of people did. We won't talk about the problems just yet, but from the gameplay I saw of it,
heard it was shit!
I actually thought it looked promising, to be honest. Maybe not as a single-player game, but in a small group, I think it looks like it'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I think that's where it's going to shine. My only issue with this, and actually with a lot of these games that base themselves on this, is why have we got to a stage where 4-player co-op is such a specific, like, such a universal term?
Yeah, I'm not sure why that is.
Like,
almost all the FPSs these days seem to be going that way when it comes to something on whether it be online or local co-op. I don't know why.
Maybe, well, but it just seems to be the thing in general. Like, Battlefield made your squad 4 people. Bloody Call of Duty limited you to a 4-person group for their game for Blackout. Actually, all of your battle royales limit to a 4-person maximum. We've got Anthem, which is now going for 4-player co-op, and nearly every other co-op shooter I can think of is 4-player. Maybe I'm just getting spoiled by the idea of Overwatch allowing 6 and WoW being 5 by default as the standard party size, but I've gotten used to having more flexibility with the size of our group, especially given that there is more than 4 of us that normally play these things.
Yeah, it does make it very difficult.
I like 6. I've been spoiled. I'll happily admit that.
I think that's
6.
I think that's part of the reason why Insurgency appealed to me so much, because it is a 6-person co-op, which is rare in a shooter.
It's simply not conforming, which is probably a good thing for most of us.
Hey, talking smack.
I was gonna say, so do you think that the battle royales are the main instigators for this sort of style?
No. It's been that way for so long. Like, when was prior to Overwatch? Honestly, when was the first mainstream shooter that you can remember, or can you even remember a mainstream shooter prior to Overwatch that actually was built around a different size party?
Not off the top of my head.
Army of 2.
Okay. That's
player.
That's just being specific.
Sorry, let's specify a little bit better.
More than 4.
Not 4 or 2.
3? One of the Battlefields did 3, didn't they?
No, the Battlefields were always 4.
Oh, I must be remembering a different game.
I feel like 3 would be a bit awkward.
The only other one that I can think of is Modern Warfare 2, whose party system for competitive was 5v5, and for all of the unranked game modes except for one was 6v6. But outside of that, I actually can't think of anything else that had a party system or a group system that wasn't 4 or 2. Okay, then we expand into not shooters.
Shit, no, I can counter this. Fuck. I think it's Paladin?
I've not played that one. Do you know how many players it is?
5. It's a lane system. It's a MOBA game, but I'm pretty sure it's a shooter. I don't know.
As you'll say, are you referring to the Paladins one that came out shortly after Overwatch but was overshadowed?
No?
I thought that was Battleborn.
No, that was Battleborn.
I thought there was one. I thought that
Paladins was essentially Paladins is essentially free to play Overwatch. It plays very much like Overwatch.
Hey, how old is it though? Does it fit the criteria we're after?
It came out a couple of months, 6 to 12 months after Overwatch, from memory.
Fuck.
Yeah, it's not going to fit it, unfortunately. If anything, I think trying to be different is what encouraged them to go back to 5.
Go back to the safe zone, must not leave the comfort zone. But yeah, I didn't play the Anthem demo either.
Unfortunately, I don't think any of us here did, because you didn't either, did you, Raymond?
No, I did not.
That's a bit of a shame. But in saying that, like I said, from what I saw of the gameplay, I liked it. I think the story is going to be a bit meh. I get the feeling the game's going to be a lot like Destiny is at this point, where once you finish your storyline, you're just going to be logging on to do public events and play with friends if they keep up with it. But outside of that, I think it's just going to be a intermediate game that you play as let's say you take a break from Destiny 2, but you don't want to get away from the series, go to Anthem.
If you don't want to play Destiny, but want to play Destiny.
Exactly. If you want to play Destiny, but had enough of Destiny, go to Anthem.
If you want a different style of jumping shoot-em-ups, just boot up Anthem. And if you want a different style, play that Tom Clancy game that crashed and burned. One set in the mountains.
Ghost Recon?
No, not Ghost Recon. Cam, it was like 2 years ago.
Wasn't that Ghost Recon Wildlands?
Wildlands, yeah.
Yeah, Ghost Recon Wildlands.
Yeah, I don't call it Ghost Recon. I call it Wildlands.
And
That
there
one
we have it.
bombed. There you go. Regrettably, my nose is slowly starting to turn into a tap.
That's okay. Just keep it to yourself.
Dropped a card. It's all over. Arigato gozaimasu.
So, on the matter of 4-player games...
Oh, fuck, I thought you were just going to stop at 4-play.
No.
No, we have to go past this.
I don't know if you guys heard, but they actually launched, what was it? Apex Legends, which is by Respawn, which is the Titanfall developer, today.
Oh, yes, I did see about that one. I actually was meaning to have a bit of a quick read up about it.
I gotta admit, it
say,
looks interesting, but
it does look interesting. But
Sorry, I was coughing. What was the game?
Apex Legends.
Oh, okay, I don't know.
Every single news article or something I've read about it has always said, "Oh, it's not Titanfall 3, but Apex Legends." It's like, is that meant to be a dig?
Well, I think a lot of people thought that they were making Titanfall 3 and not another battle royale.
I mean, is that actually what it is?
It's a battle royale game.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Good God.
Because
I suppose it explains it free to play.
Honestly, if it was a 4v4 shooter, because it's built around 8 characters, and that look like they're very much as 2 teams of 4.
Oh my god, I see Sombra.
It to me would be it was like, oh well, should give it a solid shot. But the moment it was like, it's a battle royale, it's like, oh, we don't need more battle royales.
Yeah, you do.
I don't know, the entire world
I'm just going to send you a screenshot, because I think one of the characters is a bird.
They do a lot of interesting people in these games to try to stand out, so it wouldn't surprise me if one is a bird.
So, yeah. I watched the trailer for it, it's like, oh, that could be interesting. Battle Royale.
Yeah, that's like a turn-off for most of those things for me now. I think to myself, I actually think to myself, I get in this game, then eventually it's like in the punchline, it's bringing you the latest Battle Royale, and that's a no. How do Battle Royale players actually feel when they think to themselves, oh, I'm playing this Battle Royale, oh, and here's another one, and here's another one, and another one? I wonder how they're feeling about this sort of stuff. Do they actually like the fact so many are coming out, or are they actually happy enough just to play the one they're playing?
I don't know, it's just... I admit, like, free-to-play made by Respawn, to me, is, like, maybe this is worth checking out.
Mm-hmm.
Just because Respawn being attached to it, it's like, maybe? But... I don't know.
I mean, at the end of the day, I suppose it is a free-to-play game.
Yeah, we're only blowing the download quota, and like not so much quota, the download time.
Show me the fucking pigeon.
I want to find it. I was going to say, what does the roster in the game look like?
It's 8 characters that seem to be divided into 2 groups of 4.
Okay. Interesting. Well, maybe it might be worth checking out, I suppose. I mean, maybe people are starting to get a better working formula for some of these battle royales as bring them out. Maybe they're just copying and pasting the ones that are already doing well. But pace to at least have a look.
It could be that we just played the boring ones.
We say the boring ones, but it's like we just played.
We mainly played Blackout.
We played the one that we thought if this one's good, maybe there's hope, and we were sadly disappointed and have never gone back. Some of us are going back, but most of us just said no to that game.
Yeah.
I've played 3 or 4 battle royales. I've hated all of them. Played PUBG, Fortnite. That other one that we just discussed that we can't remember because it's garbage.
Very, very well.
I don't think I can remember any other ones. But, they feel very samey. Jump from the sky, parachute in, shoot other people with the various assortments of hodgepodge guns.
Yeah.
I mean,
This
I can
one-
understand keeping that formula the same.
I see what they've got here with this Apex thing. Is they've got abilities like the Overwatch characters do. And that's why I like Overwatch so much. Is because of how much of a interesting take it is on the shooter. And Cole would probably get really fucking furious. It's not a proper shooter because the guns don't sit right. That's the whole point.
That hitbox was wrong.
Oh,
That hitbox wrong!
I mean, with the exception of Hanzo's arrows, the hitboxes are pretty damn good. Sometimes Hanzo's arrows will do some weird things.
Sometimes Hanzo is just weird in
You want to
general.
pull in that late sack of shit?
Yeah, so we've got Nick now joining us.
What?
Hello, Nick.
Greetings.
We're just discussing, Nick, the latest Battle Royale release. I'm not sure if you heard about it, the Apex Legends.
Nope.
From the creators of Titanfall.
Well, made by Respawn, who most recently made Titanfall, and their original claim to fame was Call of Duty 4.
Oh, baby.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
they
can't
don't,
have heard of it.
they don't exactly have a bad history of making... Like, they've got a decent history of making good shooters. It's just... It's a Battle Royale game.
They're jumping on that bandwagon and sailing it through like everyone else, hoping to strike gold.
That was
Well,
They're gold in those hills!
Well, considering Overwatch came in and filled a niche that no one was really expecting we actually needed or wanted, maybe Apex Legends could do it. Maybe.
Yeah, but
Maybe.
it's not filling a niche, it's just adding to
Niche
an
of a
existing...
niche.
Yeah, it's just adding to a genre.
Exactly,
It's a niche of a niche.
And that's the difference. That's why a lot of those earlier Battle Royale ones were good, because they did something slightly different at the time, and that's why the earliest ones are popular, and these other ones, like, you're getting on that bandwagon still?
It's why, despite the fact that it is a buggy, hack-ridden, cheating mess, I will always prefer PUBG. Because it is the original, well, as far as I know, the original. It's
Sure.
the one that started it off.
Sure.
It's just
And,
the developer is the laziest sack of shit. No offense, mate, if somehow you ever find yourself watching this, but fuck me, you're slow.
I take it you're a disappointed fan wanting more content?
No. It's just a matter of that him and his mates, whoever was developing the game there, they took too long to address the cheaters, and it hit the game too hard, and the game has not yet recovered.
Oh.
Yeah.
Issues with hacking and aimbotting, and they took a little bit too long to address it.
I had to say it's halfway common for these sorts of games where they explode in popularity really quickly, and then all of the shit that comes with that they can't keep up with. The same thing happened with DayZ years ago. Of the concept exploded, and then the developer was like, "Oh yeah, we're going to do a standalone game," and nothing for the next 5 years.
Update recently, they added I think they added a gun, a pistol.
Ooh.
Yeah, fucking boom. And they added some pathfinding thingies. Like, pathing coding to make people walk better. Not entirely sure what it's called, but
Anyway, I think onto a more recent and actually popular topic among us anyway, is the new Overwatch map that's been announced.
Harry.
Yes, and what a lovely map it looks like as well.
I haven't actually looked at too much for it because I
have you not?
have to admit I normally try to go into the Overwatch content stuff.
Cam, the Reddit
Reasonably.
has been going absolutely fucking wild with the piano.
I'm sorry, Raymond. I don't read Reddit as religiously as you do.
I actually can't read Reddit at school. There's no service. I've been greatly offended. But yeah, I'm really keen for this map, Cam. It's the good old 2 capture points. Assault 2 points, capture 2 points. So that's the only map genre that we're lacking in now, so it's going to be even rotation. Really appeals to me.
Yeah, I did mean to watch. I only watched part of a video showing some of the content on it. I didn't watch the whole thing. I don't suppose you have, Raymond, a bit of insight as to what sort of map style it is.
It's very tight. It's very close quarters, and given the buffs they've made to Reaper, I'm scared.
Let the reaping begin.
Fuck off, you're not playing Reaper, I'll report you if you
No,
do.
Nick will be.
Fuck
Correct.
off, I'll report you if you do.
I was gonna say, is it close to what Rialto was when it came out? When
no.
it has long sight lines, or is it all very short and cramped?
It's apparently a sniper's hellhole.
It is. Oh, good. I'm actually pleased to hear
one
that.
of the points does actually have a beneficial snapping point, but it's not that long a range. It's more like, think about the area of point A in Numbani.
Mm-hmm.
Relatively tight. Like just that square with the balconies on either side. That's kind of what we're dealing with point A.
Oh, okay.
But the rest of it is apparently quite tight. But the more important thing, right, is it is a fully functioning piano. Every single key corresponds to the correct sound it should produce.
Oh, I know. It looks awesome.
Yeah, so people
If only I knew
have
how to play the
been,
piano.
Same. Some people have made the dressed up as the Sugar Plum Fairy skin and done the Sugar Plum Fairy song on the piano with Mercy's pistol, that was really well done. Symmetra and Zarya are really good at playing the piano because they're laser. You can toggle it on and off real quick, but the shooters have a bit more difficulty, and McCree's just garbage. He's shit. Fucking bad piano player.
Struggles to play Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Bang, 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 bang. Bang, bang, bang.
You can put unlimited ammo
bang,
on though in
bang,
custom,
bang.
can't you?
You can.
You just have to deal with the fact that you hear a
slowest.
constant ricochet of a magnum going backwards every time it shoots.
Bang, bang, bang.
And then when he has a fit, he just rolls across the keyboard.
Like that?
Pretty much.
Excellent.
So is that only in one of the rooms? Like one of the teams gets the piano?
I'm pretty sure there's 2 pianos. I don't remember. Anytime someone's posted the video, they've only had a close up of the piano and the wall.
I'm assuming the piano is in your starting room.
No, it's not actually. It's in just a room.
Oh.
Somewhere near the point, from what I can gather. Like, it looks like they run through a street and then go into the house with the piano.
So
Basically, no one's ever going to take the map seriously. It's going to all be going straight for the piano.
I mean, hey, I want to go play the piano as Winston.
Jump on and do monkey things.
What are you planning to do?
It looks like a completely different kettle of fish, and I am hoping that it is a really nice, tight map. We got like whispers of that with Rialto, but and I guess Korea with Busan, but nothing that's truly quite really windy like those old bloody Quake maps. Some of the old Quake maps there.
Oh, sounds good. Well, the other thing that's coming up soon is the season 2 of the Overwatch League, and the fact they basically doubled the size, the number of teams in it.
Still no Australia.
No.
Yeah, no Australia, but also they didn't give away any like free points, so you can't support your team.
You still get free points if you
Have to
get your
watch
pass
or
and all that
subscribe
sort of
to
stuff.
Twitch.
Yeah.
But last year they gave you enough points to buy yourself a skin for the team you want to support. And if you don't want to support the really good team like Seal Dynasty, you don't have any points to buy a skin anymore.
Sure.
Like, I really want to buy the Shangzhou skin, I think. The pink and blue team. They're going to win. I have a good
Yeah,
feeling.
they've been quite popular.
Because it's a bright pink and a bright blue skin.
But yeah, I have to admit though, the only thing I find a bit difficult about it now is with so many teams, it's going to be even harder to choose, even if they did give us tokens as to what you want. Because, I mean, albeit we haven't really seen a whole lot of what the new teams are going to be like, but the fact that they've done a few little matches in the existing ones, until they actually start playing, I'm not sure who I'm going to root for.
It's all good. We know the Shanghai Dragons will lose.
Well, here's hoping they don't finish the entire thing with a 0-2 lost every match.
Oh dear. Oh, just.
Like I say, I invested one of my tokens in buying one of their skins last time, and I thought, I thought, please don't lose every match. And then it's like, well, I won every single match, and they lost every single match. It's like, that's nice.
Good work.
They were consistent.
They were consistent.
Yes.
I'll give them that, and they did
Something
get
no other
very
team
close
was.
towards some of the last few ones. It was just a bad start that just tumbled dry all the way to the end as a loss. But they'll be fine.
Tumble dried. Alright. Fucking add that one to my insults. That's actually a school-friendly insult.
That is a school thing. Write it down. Use it on the kids.
Your working out looked like it's been bloody tumble dried. What's that mean, sir? It's garbage. No, we don't tell them they're garbage. Oh my god. We don't tell them they're garbage. We tell them I'm garbage. What's the what's next in news? What else have I missed while I've been doing placement?
Well, as we were discussing briefly before, we actually started this recording. There's been a lot of uproar over the last month or so when they released the latest. Yeah. Well.
Wow.
Well. Yes.
Am I wrong?
So we can snippet that out in
We can
editing
snippet that
later.
out in the
Well,
edit.
edited in post. No,
We're adding that to the highlight reel.
I remember this. Yeah, you
Yeah,
mentioned
the-
it before.
yeah,
I was
the
really
assa-
confused. By
Yeah,
the
so
way it was
basically,
phrased.
the latest Assassin's Creed Odyssey DLC they introduced a new side plot with a nice little story.
Does it have tits?
Well, technically yes,
Does it
because
have dick?
the reason why it's controversial is that it forced you to have a straight relationship only in this plot.
Forced you? What? Were you raped?
Well, you
Yes.
see, the reason why people refer to it as forced is because
You didn't get a choice.
ever since they released.
Really? That would be the definition
Be
of
careful.
forced.
Ever since they released Assassin's Creed Odyssey, the developers have firmly said, you can have any kind of relationship you want. You're not forced to have a straight relationship."
Can you be a
And-
fairy? Ask that for a friend.
We're talking about a medieval time here. I don't think that
Medieval,
was even a
fuck.
term.
What do you think medieval is?
Yeah.
That's classical.
But
Much like
yeah,
my
so that
taste in
that was
dogs.
the reason for the uproar. The
Oh, yeah,
reason why
that's fine.
I noticed this one is that the same community who actually was the LGBT community basically said they put the game up as one of the game of the years with the cavity about the DLC, and apparently after a bit of an uproar for it, the creators of Assassin's Creed Odyssey actually came out and said that they would actually change it and patch it in that you didn't have to have a straight relationship in this plot. Now,
I don't know why they fucking tried that. That's just asking for bad PR.
I mean, I don't hate that they did it, because realistically, at the end of the day, it was said in the DLC when they released it. This is a plot or driven DLC. The focus of the entire thing is to introduce you to another story. I didn't really think to myself at the time, I hope to God I can have a straight or gay
Hope to
relationship.
God I get my dick wet.
Sure. But
Well,
but see that was my issue with it is I didn't care what kind of relationship I had, because I knew going into I knew if I went into a DLC, okay, I'll get to enjoy I'm a nice slice of plot, and that's realistically what I wanted it for.
Well, the thing is that if what you said is right, and they said, oh yeah, you can have any type of relationship, for them to just go, no, you can only be straight, that's breaking their promise. So, as far as I'm concerned, I think they're up for
it
what's
is,
right.
It
but-
sort of depends, because this is still Ubisoft's story to tell.
Exactly.
So if they're saying that within the main plot series, yes, you can have whatever relations you want, okay. But if they're saying that this particular plot involved a straight relationship, then that's
Exactly.
at the end of the day, that is their story to tell. They're the ones telling a story to you. You're not going to go. You can't exactly choose to go complain to a writer because they had a different ending to the book than what you wanted.
Have you met the Game of Thrones fandom?
That's because he hasn't written the books.
He fucking has. He's just sitting on them like a goddamn dragon of a treasure hoard,
Like,
giggling away in his fucking mountain lodge. Fucking George, release the books.
But no, I see where you come from, Kevin. Honestly, I had the very same opinion. At the end of the day, it was introduced as a DLC that had a particular plot, a particular focus. As far as I'm concerned, it's far removed from the original game. It can have whatever kind of relationship quality requirements it wants. The fact of the matter is, as long as that doesn't interfere with what people got in the overall experience of the original game, who cares?
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but one of the key lore points of Assassin's Creed, right, is that when you jack into the Animus, you're going through your ancestors. So the implication there is whoever you're playing as has to have had a kid. At some point, they have to have had a kid for you to dive into their memories through the...
That is actually technically true. That is the basis of the overall plot.
in that knowledge, right, not many people are aware, but ancient Greece was so much more open and liberally minded about sex and relationships than our current society is. So the idea that you can have an open relationship and still have a child it's not that far-fetched for back then.
Functionally, what it's saying is that if you were playing a character that was homosexual up to that point, then what this plot piece is enforcing upon you is that the character was in fact actually bisexual.
Yeah.
It's that's what it is enforcing upon, and inherently, I still stand by it. Ubisoft gets to tell the story, and if Ubisoft's actually saying that no, there's actually, no matter what you chose, your character isn't actually purely homosexual, then okay, that's their choice in the story they tell. And as you just pointed out, Raymond, technically speaking, from the overall arcing story of the entire Assassin's Creed series,
yeah,
it would be impossible for any of the characters you're playing to be strictly homosexual.
No. Not unless someone got a turkey baster out and, had a bit of fun. But there's nothing in the story prohibiting... they can have, through the entire plotline... I haven't played it, so who knows if you can actually engage in these relationships throughout the game. Or if it's just tied to this DLC. But you could probably have these... the gay relationships all throughout the game, but when it comes time for you to stop playing as the character, according to the lore of the whole story, a baby has to be created. And back then, they didn't have the technology to artificially inseminate a woman. Sure. Maybe they could have used the magic apple of Eden bullshit as a plot device, but that would have felt very sour, and I would have been very upset.
Oh, you would be upset about that piece of Deus Ex Machina within the Assassin's Creed series?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Oh my god, the apple of Eden impregnated me.
My god.
Yeah, so I don't mind. I don't mind, but Cameron's right in that it is their story, but also I feel like they really should have just organized their PR a bit better than saying, you can pursue any later relationship. Actually, no, you can only be straight.
Well, they're not even saying that you can only be straight. It's just saying that your character is now either hetero or bi.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
But yeah, so for better or worse, they fixed it in, and now the community is happy again. So I suppose at the end of the day, even if they probably weren't too happy about it, at least they've kept their fans happy. So I suppose it's a win for them.
You're never gonna make the Horde happy.
For the Horde.
Fuck off! Fucking bullshit. Don't even get me fucking started on WoW. Next.
Well, technically, the next thing I want to bring up was something that was in the news. At least was talked about I don't know, it was a few weeks ago, a month ago, something like that. I can't recall the exact time, but it was from a different community, and this was the Skyrim community. The fact that they have now released the multiplayer mod into its beta. And this multiplayer mod, to my knowledge, allows you to have up to 6 other players in the same world as you.
How convenient,
playing Skyrim.
That's the fucking magic number for you.
Excellent.
Exactly, and from what I've heard, it's doing really well.
Oh dear.
But some of the gripes, I don't have any gripes about the multiplayer mod. I think it's great. Some of my gripes at the moment are the fact that at not too long ago as well, when Skyrim VR came out, apparently adding VR to the title of the game, and they thought, oh, you know what? Let's just sell this for full price again.
Fucking damn it, Howard, you've done it again.
Exactly.
No, this is a VR problem across the board of the number of games that are just like, we made a VR version of our game. Pay us more cash.
Exactly.
Lots more cash.
You put a lot of effort into making this VR. No, all you did is you altered the controller scheme.
Exactly.
You're a first-person shooter, you dickhead.
Exactly. I don't understand how the hell they can get away with saying it's a brand new game. It's like, no.
Because no one's been able to, what's the word? Modernize? No, standardize? Standardize the market.
That's probably true.
At the moment, you get, when it comes to VR ports of games, you get two very wildly different sides of this. You either get the games that just outright give you the VR version of their game if you own the base version. Look at Elite, look at Payday, look at...
Voodoo.
I don't actually have an awful lot more to list.
Race the Sun also does it.
Yeah, Race the
Sun. It's a little indie game. It's a lovely game. You should try it out.
Or you've got the games that they charge you separate for the port. Look at Superhot, look at Skyrim, look at Fallout.
Fuck Fallout.
Like, I got pissed off massively when Superhot tried to pull this shit, because it's like, you're charging more for the VR version than what the original costs.
That's always the amusing part too, is that they actually think that that the VR should be worth more than the original game. It's like, well,
is it actually worth more? Like, what proof do you have that your VR version of Skyrim is actually worth more than the $5 I paid for fucking Skyrim? Or whatever the original price of Skyrim. It was like $40-$50 back in the day, wasn't it?
At this point in time, I have bought Skyrim 3 times. And if I want the VR version, I'm going to have to buy Skyrim a 4th time.
Alright, Cam, just wait till your birthday.
Yeah.
Or maybe Christmas.
I definitely am the sort of person that's like, Skyrim VR is actually a really cool idea, especially after having played other VR combat games and realizing that, just wait, this actually does sort of work.
We're not being sponsored or anything, but you should really play In Death, if anyone's watching. Lovely game as well. Really bloody atmospheric. And the bow feels great.
So, there's, like, okay, so it probably does work, assuming that the control scheme's not complete arse. But, god damn, why? Like, there's at the time of recording this, we actually have a Steam sale currently running, and the game is still
New Year, isn't it? Lunar New Year.
Yeah, the Lunar New Year Steam sale. The game on sale is still $59.
Woo! That's how much it used to be back in the day.
That's a shocking amount.
Yeah, I think the only time I paid that much for more than that for the original game is when I bought the original game on release. And I walked into an EB Games and paid through the nose.
Although EB's alright. I've never had issues with buying things from EB. They're alright. Oh, they're okay.
No, it is very stupid. Because even Nick and I can actually put our 2 cents worth on that. Back when our older brother Jared used to play a lot of games, he used to be obsessed with a couple of games, and every time those games came out, even if nothing changed about them, they just moved on to a new console, or they said, "Oh, we've done something slightly new to it. Here's a new edition." He would buy it.
Oh, for fuck's sake! What's wrong with your brother?
I don't know, but the thing was, even when he bought all those other games, he would still always play the original.
Maybe he's just supporting his favorite developer, but like, still seems silly.
To be fair, he does love Rockstar, so I could sort of understand it from that perspective.
Oh, fuck him. Soz, but fuck Rockstar.
I always find it a bit annoying because I walk in and see the games that are still hanging around at my place, and I look at it and think to myself, how does he sat them up beside each other? I thought to myself, I wonder if he ever looked at those and thought, you know what, I only needed one. Because there's like no difference at all, and that's why I don't understand when places like when games like Skyrim come out in multiple forms and they ask basically full price every single time, it's like people already own the game. There's no
conversely,
reason.
like just to toot my favorite game's horn, when The Witcher released their special Game of the Year edition, they just upgraded everyone for free. If you own the game, they gave you it for free.
And that's fair, because realistically you own the game. In which case, if you don't own the game, yeah, okay, you can probably pay a price. I wouldn't say a full new game price, but something like half or something would be decent.
Anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
People stop buying it, it'll keep happening. It's just, I mean, I would say it's the same deal with VR, but it's such a new industry in terms of like comparing it to the other methods of purchasing games and playing games. It's like a little baby, and everyone's already in fucking university. And it's been thrown in Legal Studies 101. Like, fucking good luck, buddy.
I gotta admit, I'm actually reading about the Skyrim multiplayer mod you were talking about, Luke. So, technically speaking, the cap is 64 players on it apparently, but they're saying that most people's machines won't be able to run any more than 8.
That makes sense.
Alright.
Technically speaking, looking at this, it actually should be compatible with the VR version because they're trying to make it on all of the versions. It's just the intricacies of the specific version.
They're still going to charge you money for it.
Of course they will.
Multiplayer mod.
It is Bethesda.
No, well, it's not being made by Bethesda from what I'm reading.
Oh, a custom mod. Color me intrigued.
It is actually it's an actual mod. It's not a Bethesda thing.
Oh.
But right now you have to subscribe to it for $1 a month.
Actually, speaking of mods, I have very grave fears for Elder Scrolls 6. Just based on how Bethesda's been doing their recent games, they've not been as mod friendly as the old games have been. Locking down the external support. Pardon me, sorry. On mods.
I think what's their next one? Starfield? I think Starfield's
Starfield is next, and then maybe Elder Scrolls 6.
Well, I think Starfield will be the big test to see what modern Bethesda's
brand new
appearance
IP, isn't it? It's in space.
Yeah. If they decide to allow traditional modding for Starfield, I think there's no real chance that they're going to not do it for Elder Scrolls 6, because surely that's a PR nightmare.
I guess it depends on the reception they get from Starfield. If people are like, oh, this restricted modding ability is actually alright, then they'll fucking do it for 6. But if they, as you said, if the shit hits the fan, they'll be like, I guess we won't do it. Give me Codral.
I do believe the coughing man might be on to something.
On to Codral? You fucking bet, big boy. Yeah. Nick, have you picked up any interesting news or tidbits since January?
January.
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 Oh, good God.
No, I don't really think I've seen much in the news. I haven't really had a chance. I rely mostly on you.
Thanks. I'm thanking for Nick, so Luke doesn't have to do it. Thanking for Luke, so Luke doesn't have to thank. Saving your voice, Luke. I'm looking out for you, buddy.
Thank
That was a very
you.
roundabout way.
I felt like I was insulting you when I said thank you.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Alright. Well then, Nick, what have you been playing for the last month then?
Himself. Oh! I'm sorry. What have you
But in
actually been
between
playing?
that, though.
Yeah. in the few moments between.
Not a lot. I've started playing the new Kingdom Hearts, but since I started moving, I kind of took the TV over to the new place, so I can't really do that now.
Why did you take the TV first?
I
The
don't know.
first thing I did when I moved into the apartment, was thrown into the apartment, was I set up my computer. I didn't give a shit about anything else. The computer was first.
Yeah, true. But in this case,
why-
he's still at the other place. So it's like, are you getting rid of the entertainment to punish yourself for moving?
Yeah. He's like,
How dare I
punishing
move?
myself.
Or
It's
if
my
you
attempt
do
to
my work every
expedite and otherwise speed
it's
this
to
up.
try and incentivize himself.
I see.
Maybe if I move faster, I'll get to play Kingdom Hearts. I'm like, yeah, I guess that's fair.
Yep.
I've heard that there's a level which is longer, 2 or 3 times longer than the movie it's based off of.
Yes.
I know who you heard that from.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's just bitching, but it is interesting to know that the game length is not shit. So that's appealing to me. I've never played Kingdom Hearts, truth be told. It's never really appealed to me. I don't like Mickey Mouse.
That's fair. But you see, that's the thing I also didn't like about the reviews. Hang on, sorry, Siri's trying to talk.
Hello, Siri.
Piss off, Siri.
Set a timer for 3 minutes and call the timer. Time to give myself a cookie.
You can't talk to her. I put her to sleep. She's not waking.
How dare you?
But the thing was when the game was being released and the various gaming groups were doing their reviews just prior to its release, I did a bit of reading on them, and the thing that I was a bit disheartened about, and I kind of disagreed a lot with every single review I read, was that they specifically said, "Oh, the game is 30-something hours long for the main story. Don't expect anything more." And it's like, what? It's like
I thought Kingdom Hearts, like all the Kingdom Hearts games, had quite a lot of replayability.
They do, and that's the thing too.
A lot of side questing.
Exactly.
Am I wrong?
And that's what I didn't like. I thought to myself, every single one of those reviews is a lie. So the game is easily 90+ hours, because it's like you're not. In their case, they want to get to the end so they could give out all the spoilers. Because God, I see so many of those, and I've had to avoid clicking any of them.
At least some of them do spoiler warnings. Some of them don't.
Most of them don't.
Fuck them.
But the thing was, I went through
Fuck you,
all the
PC
reviews, and it's like all you've done is rush to the end game and said, "Oh yeah, that took me about 40 hours to do nothing but the main story. Therefore, the game is 40 hours long." It's like, no, the game is 40 hours long if you have no interest in the side content. But you're going to play the side content. It's a Kingdom Hearts game.
Yeah, why are we embedding how long it takes to complete the main story as part of the review?
I don't understand.
Because they probably won't let us say anything else.
Sorry, Nick. I think The Witcher started that trend because they were like, "Oh, we have 100 hours of main content plus 40 hours of DLC, not including side quests."
I don't know if it was a Witcher thing, but I know a lot of people were like, "Oh yeah, Witcher," and it popularized it again.
Yeah,
Like this is it. I understand the idea of maybe you want to report on like how much content the game has, and that's a definite thing worth talking about in the review. But like, how long it takes to complete a run through of the main campaign to me isn't really the key indicator.
No, and I'll be very disappointed if that actually turned anyone off of the game. I do know quite a few people started having doubts about it when they were in the review comments for a lot of those ones, and I thought to myself, well, that's just wrong. I feel like a lot of people are still salty about how many delays and everything there was in the game, and a lot of people
were there delays?
There was a lot of delay for this game. It was supposed to come out. Nick, help me out. Was it 2 years ago? More?
Oh, I don't think it was 2 years ago, but it was meant to come out like relatively early last year.
Okay. So, it wasn't that long ago. But the fact of the matter was, I feel like a particular of those gaming review groups, I imagine they probably have some sort of gripe with, I should have been able to review this ages ago. So I'm sure they probably have a bit of bias in how they're doing the reviews. But I just thought it was just downright pathetic the way they did it. They only talked about the negatives of the game. It's like, for a fact the game isn't bad. You're simply trying to hide the fact that, I feel salty that I didn't get the game sooner. Well, friggin' hell, the game is here now. Why the hell would you be complaining about it? Talk about how great it is.
Write a sternly worded letter, sir.
It's what you feel like they're doing, and I don't know how many people took their word for it, but I hope most people didn't, because every single review I read, not a single one of them ever actually told me anything good about the game. It's like, well, clearly the game is better than what you guys are talking about. You're simply having a fit that, I should have had this game sooner. Play the damn thing. Play it and tell the people.
Concerned, if a game is delayed, it means it's going to be better than what it was.
Exactly. Some games fall short, but at the end of the day, if a game comes out and it's
colonial marines.
But yeah, if a game comes out and it's really good, tell people that. Don't sit back on your high horse and say, "This we should have had this ages ago. These are all the things that are bad." Have fun. The main story is 40 hours long. That doesn't tell you one shit. Nothing.
It does
Honestly,
tell you the two shits.
It does tell me that the review panels was absolute garbage for it. That's all I can say. At the end of the day, I have not cared about any of the reviews. I've really enjoyed the game so far. Haven't got to play as much as I wanted to, but as soon as I have a good weekend, I'm just gonna slog it all out and see how far I get.
Like this weekend.
Yes, like this weekend. Nick, sign your calendar. We're doing it.
Oh boy.
Find my calendar.
Why is this?
boy.
Why do you need each other for a single player game?
They can goss to each other, Cam. Fuck.
Exactly. Nick and I have had like a live chat to talk about the game so far. May as well keep it up. It's good fun.
All good fun.
Actually, well, this is probably more towards Nick because I do know you guys have said he's the more diehard.
He is the guru.
Yeah. So
Nice.
as I said to you guys a couple of days ago, I've never played any of the series before, but I'm sort of interested and tempted. I did some checking around and found that they released a HD remaster collection of
all of them.
And technically speaking, it's meant. I think they called it 1 plus 1.5 plus 2.5, but upon reading, it's like the first 6 games.
Yeah. It's basically the first one plus a little, like 1.5 means everything in between, and then there's 2, and then everything in between.
So my question is,
Like
as somebody that has never played the series before, would it and is sort of tempted to come into it, do you reckon it would be better to pick up that pack first and play that, or just dive head first into 3, or give it a miss?
It probably depends on like realistically, I wouldn't jump in number 3 immediately unless you just want to just get up with the hype. Only because I like number 3, but I actually like number 2 better at the moment. Only because I played the whole thing number 2. When I play more number 3, it'll be different. But at the moment, number 2 is my best because it's the only one I've actually played completely to completion and actually enjoyed thoroughly. But in saying that, if you want to get all of them, say for example, if you knew you wanted to play all of them, I know on the PlayStation Store at the moment you can get a bundle where you get the third one, plus you get every other game for like $130, $140.
Yeah, well, I worked out I could buy the 1.5 plus 2.5 plus 3 for I think 110.
Okay, that's for PS4.
Yeah, the PS4 remasters of the 1.5 and 2.5, and then obviously PS4 for 3.
Yeah, no, I'd say that'd be worthwhile. Don't get too hung up on number 1 though.
Number one is an acquired.
No.
Taste.
Oh, number 1's fine. The combat is a lot slower and a lot more restrictive in how
it's
you fight.
It's gonna be like Witcher 1, I reckon.
But if you get to the end and you can't beat the final boss, don't be disheartened.
Call Nick.
A lot of people had issues with it.
Okay.
Wait. I don't even
a lot of people
who
literally
it
just
was.
gave up at the end and just moved on number 2.
Wow, fucking weak ass bitches.
That's the next question. If I do that, should I actually play like all of 1.5 first? So that's 1 plus like the
if
2 other games?
Yeah. In the actual order they came out, it was 1, 2, and then all the other stuff. But if you can play them in order, I'd play them in order. It'll at least keep the storyline intact.
So play them in story chronological, not release chronological.
Yeah.
All right.
I was gonna say, out of all the ones, Nick, that were previous number 3, what was your favorite?
I liked Dream Drop, and that was the last one I played before this.
That 2.5?
No. Oh, no. It was technically a DS game.
Oh, okay. Alright.
But it came out, but they remastered it as part of the 2.5 collection.
I also saw there's a 2.8 collection. It's like, what the hell is up with your numbering scheme, guys?
Oh, the 2.8 is because they wanted it was like 2.8 was like a last minute thing of this is just a quick little thing that leads into number 3. It's like only like a half an hour version of the game. It's like a demo. It gets you the combat of number 3 without actually playing number 3.
So
sorry,
the order that they're in the disc, and just so for your reference, because we were just talking about it, more than 150 hours of gameplay in one disc. Anyway, the order that they're in is Kingdom Hearts 1 Final Mix, Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories.
Yep.
Kingdom Hearts 358/2 Days.
Yep, it's a DS game.
Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, and Kingdom Hearts Recoded. Is that your recommended play order, or would you suggest stepping out of that?
No, I'd probably play it like that, only because if you start playing the ones like only recommendation anything I'll note is that the one that Birth by Sleep, although all that storyline actually occurs before Kingdom Hearts 1.
Oh, excellent!
But if you play it now, you will get confused with how crappy the combat style is in 1 versus that, because Birth by Sleep uses the combat style from number 2. So if you jump in and play Birth by Sleep and then Kingdom Hearts 1, you will probably not even play Kingdom Hearts 1.
Yeah, you'll give up and move straight on to the next one.
Because once you play number 2 and see how free flowy the combat is, it's hard to go back.
Exactly. Yeah, that was a great thing about all the ones from number 2 onward is how fluid the gameplay was. One actually question I have, Nick, I forget how many days was that game? Was it 352/8? Did you say
358/2?
Okay, sorry, ran the wrong way. Nick, in the remaster for that one, is it still the same where you don't actually do a whole lot of gameplay and most of the story is just told to you?
No. If you get the actual full game, it is the full game. But I'm not sure what the remaster's like, because I've played the DS version. The DS version is a proper game, but I think the one they give you on the 1.5 mix, I think it actually is just a episodic thing.
Yeah, because I remember watching you play it at one point, and
it was just like an hour-long video.
It literally was. I mean, it was a nice video, but it's like we paid for a game.
No. The thing was, it was an hour-long. Like, it was like a compilation of all the cutscenes from the game. So you don't do any of the combat. It just shows you it shows combat beginning and then jumps to the end, and you just beat the final creature, and now you do more discussion.
I did like though how it
I don't know if they
had a
ever
little
made the
blurb
game
over the
full,
front of it and said, "This is what you would have been doing, but instead, here's the rest of the story."
Yeah, it was
here's what you would have done if we would have given you gameplay, but here's the rest of the story.
It was a bit disappointing.
It was like, oh, that's so disheartening. No pun intended.
But I don't know whether they ever actually made it into the. I haven't checked because only the final mix I got for 1.5 is back on the PS3.
So I am actually looking it up right now. The 358/2 is not in a playable form. It is a 3.5 hour minutes. 3 hours of cinematic retelling.
Yep.
There you go.
Features trophies.
For lasting half an hour.
You played a game that wasn't really a game. Here's a platinum trophy. Oh, that's probably what it is.
That doesn't seem to make an awful lot of sense.
No, it would have taken you probably 40 hours to finish the game. Instead, they consolidated into 3 hours of cutscenes.
That's okay. That was the only one of those they made that mistake on. Luckily. Have you seen some of the weird gummy ships, Nick, that people are making in Kingdom Hearts 3?
No.
Someone, outside of the fact that I saw Kotaku do a review on someone who made a penis out of it, and that's like of course. I mean, let's face it. You give people an option to build something in a game, they're going to build a penis. That's always the freaking do. But what I did like the look of, I saw actually today, in fact, was someone that actually made a Mickey glove hand and a gun, and you flew around and literally shot at the enemies, like it was Mickey Mouse holding a gun. It was only the hand, but I thought it looked pretty cool.
Jesus.
And I thought to myself, I don't think I have enough. I wouldn't even want to take the time out to actually build something like that, because, as I was saying to Nick the other day, I'm getting to the point now where I can start customizing my gummy, and I said to Nick, Nick, I never watched you build gummies. I said, what the hell am I doing? And I'm still waiting for Nick to jump on and teach me how to actually.
Oh, I gotta check see how it's actually done.
Work these gummy things, because I have no freaking clue what I'm doing.
Yeah. trouble is you got to follow the blueprints half the time, because if you try and build something yourself, you generally forget a piece. Like if you don't put like a motor on it or a gun, they just won't let you like hit accept on it. But they also half the time in the old ones they wouldn't tell you what you were missing.
Oh wow, that's sounds like a pain.
So you just sort of sat there going, why can't I accept this one? So I just stuck to the blueprints all the time.
So your ship needs to be functional.
Correct.
Apparently it needs to fly. Apparently that's the requirement. It's like, wait, my ship needs to fly? I was hoping for a Land Rover. Or just hoping just to float. Just float around in space. Let's do that.
Well, Luke, anything else you've been playing in the last month?
Honestly, no.
That's Luke. I was.
Sorry, I thought I heard Luke. So
I heard Luke.
I heard Nick.
I heard Luke.
Luke, I think that's Nick passing the torch.
Don't make me find
I haven't played anything else, so I'm happy to pass it on. I got to get into more games.
Find it.
Oh, you lost it. Thank the heavens.
No, it's in a bag. All good.
Anyway, so Luke, what have you played?
I like to say
Hearts 3.
Outside of that one, honestly, not a whole lot. The most I spent my last weekend doing was playing Rocket League for 2 times experience, and after playing again tonight, I've realised that may have been a waste because I seem to have lost my ability to play. So let's not talk about how many losses just before, Cameron.
To be fair, I think we won more than we lost.
We won more in doubles, and then Ben joined.
What, you just ended on a losing streak, is what you're telling me?
Did we lose any doubles? Or no, we lost the first doubles.
We lost the first one, but we called that a warm-up because we always do.
Actually, that was really quite close, though, still.
It was. And then we won 2 or 3 matches. I think it was 2. And then Ben joined, and then it was all downhill.
You're downhill.
Yeah, it was. It was very downhill. Outside of that, the only thing I've done different last week or so is I've finally booted up again my VR system and bought Beat Saber and started going to town.
Congratulations, you finally bought the good VR game.
Exactly, I finally bought a popular one that all the other mainstream kids play. I feel cool now.
What have you been playing on VR?
Google Map VR.
Right.
I haven't had the chance to load up anything else. I showed my parents the other day just how Google Maps VR worked, and they're like, "Oh, this is so cool." I said, "Oh, then you can play games too," and they're like, "Oh, no, we lost interest." I'm like, "Oh." And I bought Beat Saber and said, "I'll play by myself," and I did.
On the flip side of that, my parents actually really wanted to play, VR games, and then found out that it's really difficult for people that need glasses.
Oh, actually, yeah, but surprisingly, both my parents were able to succeed in doing it, even taking off their glasses. But I don't know how much of it they were just faking and how much they actually were seeing with their own eyes. If so, they are good at acting.
This is where they unplug it when they're doing, "Oh, this is amazing, yeah."
It's like you lie. But yeah, other than that though, I did find a easier track for the shelter song, so I was able to play that one through to completion. I felt very proud of myself, and Beat Saber, that is.
Have you got into downloading any of the major song packs yet for it?
I've only downloaded songs singly. The other actual song packs around.
So there is a modding website out there that allows you to download specifically built song packs for it. I'll
really?
Send you a link afterwards. But yeah,
that would actually be helpful.
They're actually really quite good song packs, and because they're actually being put together as here's a song pack, they're really quite reliably good songs.
Oh, well, there you go. The other thing I did notice too, I don't think I haven't been down to where you guys are to play Beat Saber down there, but I noticed on my one that with some of the mods that they have, all the different customizations to the platforms and the sabers and things that you can have. So I've been playing around with a lot of those. I think at the moment I'm using Soul Edge and Soul Calibur from Soul Calibur, the game.
Really?
Yeah, go figure. And yeah, some of those ones are pretty cool. Though I did notice at one point that one of the blade mods I bought actually, when I waved it, it actually had a streaming effect that I actually went blind. I actually couldn't see past them every time I whipped. So I'm like thought to myself, I actually have to guess what's on the other side of this because the stream tells me it's blue, but I don't think it is.
It's a case of wrong sword, kiddo.
Yeah, so I've gone through a few switches. I'm thinking I was going to try some katanas next, but at this point I may just go back to the base ones before and actually get better at the game before I go enjoying myself too much.
Yeah,
Got to get some skill.
I was for quite some time using the katanas that you get with the mod to put custom sabers in, but ended up I've gone to. I've got the custom saber thing installed, but I've disabled the katanas and gone to like the slightly modified default sabers that are in it. And
yes, I've seen those. Yep.
I'm actually, I think I've settled that. Yeah, I'm happy with keeping it that way for now.
I don't mind the little stars it has inside the black of the blade, and it's also very clearly defined which saber is which. And the trail isn't oppressive. It's there, but it's not oppressive.
I think my biggest thing is it still feels lightsabery, which was part of the selling point, but it's also like it's clean. Like it's not getting in your way, it's not emitting a huge amount of light, making it difficult to see, but it's also very definite which one's which and where it is and where the extents of it are. Like there's nothing left to chance, but it still looks good.
No, I can see what you mean there. I've since disabled, not disabled, but stopped using some of the mods because I found myself a bit overwhelmed when I first put them on. I thought to myself, well, these things are all cool. I thought, but I have no idea how even the original game plays, so maybe I shouldn't be going overboard.
So my recommendation is to leave most of the mods off because anyway, every time it updates, it becomes a pain in the ass re-updating all of your mods if you're going to do it that way.
I imagine it would be, yeah.
Because at the moment they're doing updates half regularly, so it does become an annoyance. The other one is start with the inbuilt songs before you go too heavily into the custom ones. But in saying that, one of the custom packs I'll send you later is for new players, and it is actually got a very steadily increasing difficulty curve through it.
It is quite delightful.
So it is a very definite, here's a good training one for getting yourself caught up. Well, just like, you'll have to play a little bit to work out exactly where you currently are, but it's such a steady increase in difficulty that you'll be able to slowly build up to wherever you want to be, sort of thing, if you want to pour the time into it.
Oh, that's good. Okay, yeah, that'd actually be really helpful. Because, at the moment it's like, I'm probably in over my head.
Actually, just talking about VR games, the other one that I did see that you had put on your wish list at one point, In Death is actually quite solid.
Beautiful game. I may or may not have spent so long playing it that I physically couldn't move afterwards because I had too many head spins.
Raymond's got more playtime on it on my VR headset than I do now.
So you recommend it?
I do.
Yeah, I was going to say I do, but Raymond's already played it more than me, so his recommendation.
I do.
Well, I'll take your word for it, Raymond. I'll pick it up next time I see it.
And maybe one day Nick will play it as well.
One day.
That's right.
All he'll probably do was come round, but went and visited your brother.
That's right. Now, when he visits me now,
who buys like 50 different games and only plays the one.
Yes.
God, you chose him over VR with me and Cam. Good.
I'm a terrible person.
Nah, it's all good. It's fine.
Did he say he's an under the table person?
He likes to do things under the table.
Right.
He's a bit of a shady guy.
I'm sitting under the table as well.
Probably rocking back and forward saying, "Oh, please stop talking to me and fucking leave me alone. I don't want you anymore."
Yeah.
That sounds like a repressed memory for Raymond.
Uh-huh. That's just what my brother normally says to me whenever I say hi.
Wow. So anything else, Luke?
Honestly, that's about it. I am hoping to give a few games a try this week, though. I've recently downloaded, Nick. I'm not sure if Nick ended up watching the nice little intro video to a mobile game, actually, of all things, called Another Eden. This one apparently, outside of obviously the usual microtransactions and junk, apparently has a very solid single player story that I wouldn't mind giving a try. So I may yet return to a mobile game platform, depending on how this one goes. Because I've got a few others on my list, and I think to myself, if this one goes well, maybe I'll play some others. But the reason why I stopped playing them was, one, I couldn't stand just picking up my phone and just playing a game on it, because I thought, I realistically have too many consoles as it is. But the other thing was that you can't get very far in most of them without actually paying lots of moolah every single month.
Apparently, Another Eden's actually coming out on Switch as well.
Oh, well, there you go. That I actually was not aware of. Well, if it ends up being quite good on mobile, maybe I'll buy it on Switch. But at this point, I have high hopes for it. It's got decent reviews, and people seem to really be enjoying the single-player story. So if that's enough for me to play it without microtransactions basically forcing my hand to get progress, maybe it'll be a shining light for me to actually get back into playing mobile games. But I'm not holding my breath. Most of the time when things are too good to be true, they always are.
That sounds rather pessimistic. That's my job.
I apologize. Take it back.
How about you, Raymond? What have you been up to for the month? Wow. That must be a good game.
It's a great game. It's called Slowly Sit in This Chair, curling up into a tighter ball because the pain of my joints is getting louder and more aggressive.
Be quiet, old man.
Back in my day,
I was playing God of War. I would have actually played... so this is the first time I played God of War. I would have been playing more God of War, but a certain particular someone keeps watching the TV every afternoon. I can't...
Luke, why would you do that?
I apologize. I'll go home.
I mean, it's an alright show. It's Bones. Don't know if you remember that one, but...
We've got those.
Let's let him finish the story, shall we? Before we start another conversation.
Before Nick goes into his bones.
But really enjoying God of War. It's a lovely game. I don't know why I put it off for so long. Actually, I know why I put it off for so long, because I didn't want to finish the game. Same deal with that really good game that Cameron goes on about. Undertale.
That is not the reason you don't want to play Undertale.
It is now.
It is now.
There we go.
Yeah, it is. I've been convinced to play it, but I know it's good, so I don't want to play it. Because I don't want to end, so yeah. However, in more exciting news, we are just under 10 days from the release of Sid Meier's Civilization 6's Gathering Storm.
And no one's more excited than you.
Well, Anton may give me a run for my money, but I am very excited. I am keen as a bean to play as New Zealand.
I love
your voiceover voice sounds like you're very
getting ready.
optimistic.
He's getting ready to record it all for us.
I'm getting ready to go to bed.
Is you going to bed?
In the last, oh dear, in the last, 3 hours, I've gone from being able to have a very nice conversation to sounding like a crotchety old man.
So what?
Crotchety.
Yeah, crotchety is the word I'm going for.
You are the oldest one here.
Oh, fuck
You're
off.
just finally catching up.
What a crotchety is.
I'm going to have some Ventolin before I head off. But no, so yeah, Civ is 9 days away, and they're adding in, I think I mentioned
Did we
this
just
last
pass
time.
over a day? Man,
Yeah,
time
you
flies when you
said
have
10
fun.
only moments ago.
9 days away if you live in America, and 10 days if you live in Australia. Why? Because I can't be fucked getting the date correct. It's coming out on the 14th in America, so it'll be the 15th for us, okay?
Which, by the time this video goes live, will actually be
like a day or so.
Will actually be in the past.
Well, thanks, Cam, for dating this video, you bastard. But yeah, just to put it in perspective, today's the 5th of February, 2019.
To be exact, 9:58 at this moment.
Nice one, Gary. I'm just having a look at our calendar. Yeah, 15th of February is when you want to chuck out SomeCast. So the day it releases, Midnight Civilization 6 will be out, and you can bet your bottom dollar that I will not be planning lessons for some poor hordes of Year 8 and Year 9 kids. I will instead be playing Civ and ignoring my duties as a teacher. No, I am really excited for Civ. I'm never played a game where they've actually got I don't remember if I have, but permanent changes to the map based on how you play, like natural disasters if you're a fuckhead, and all that type of business. I know that some games change permanently, like look at World of Warcraft's Cataclysm expansion, for example. That's changed permanently, but not a direct result of your own actions. That was just some moody dragon on his period. Oh, that was a bad joke. Fuck. Actually, no, he's a man dragon, so it's a man period. It's fine.
Good save.
They're not as bad as lady periods. Lady periods are horrifying, and good god, but man periods are just sulky, whiny, bitchy tantrums. And Mark has them all the time. Why did I make a joke? I regret my decision immediately. Aside from that, I've of course been getting in the classic Doto time. I'm excited for a different reason. My apartment has actually been greenlit for NBN.
Oh, congratulations!
Yeah, so I look forward to that being installed in 6 months' time.
In 2021.
That's
yeah,
okay.
Pretty much.
The good news is the countdown is on.
Oh, look, I just typed in the NBN website and it said, warning, flooding continuing in Townsville has caused disruptions to it rollout. I'm like, no, really? Alright, let me just quickly type in my address. Unit 15, 134 Pinata Street.
Pinata?
Yeah.
I think you got that wrong, Ram. Let me fix you up.
It says service available, but it says no. Okay, that's fine, I guess.
No service available.
It says, well, it's got the purple shit, which means service is available. But it also says more work required.
There you go. Service is available, but more work is required.
What do you want from me? Oh dear, but yeah, I've been mainly focusing on the good old classic teaching kids how to count.
1 potato, 2 potato, 3 potato, 4.
Nick.
Huh?
Yeah, that's the response we're looking for.
That's the right response. Good work, Nick. Oh dear. I noticed, Cam, that you bought Superhot VR. Is it on sale?
Yes. It was 80% off or something.
Oh my fucking god! I want to.
Which still made it like $15.
Oh my god! Okay, no.
Or maybe it was like 60% off. It was a long way off, but it was still expensive. But it was, it wasn't so far off. I haven't touched it yet because what I did was I bought it alongside Ace Combat, and as you guys have probably seen, Ace Combat has been eating my time aggressively for the last week. Actually, it hasn't even been out for a week. Jesus. But yeah, excellent game. Can recommend.
Okay. You like that Maroon 5 song? Is there anyone out there? 'Cause it's getting harder and harder to breathe.
No, I'm fine.
Why did I do that? Oh dear. Sorry, I apologize. Maroon 5 just does it for me, especially after the Super Bowl thing. I actually haven't watched anything relating to it. I just know that they were bad. Speaking of Super Bowl,
I think you should leave that one and say, speaking of Maroon 5.
speaking of Maroon 5, how about Aquaman? It was a nice movie. I really liked that. I really liked that a lot.
I was going to say, we leading into the whole thing of the Super Bowl halftime show?
No, not at all. I just said, speaking of Super Bowl, completely changed topic because I couldn't give less of a shit about Super Bowl.
Oh, I thought you might be referring to the thing I read in the news today about apparently SpongeBob, of all people, appearing in the halftime show.
He was there, but not actually there. Apparently it was garbage, but
yeah, I heard there was
he was in the Super Bowl because the creator of SpongeBob passed away a couple of months ago. I think actually a month ago, really. Which is quite sad, because I liked that show as a kid. And it has been confirmed to dumb people down by watching it. So it's a great show for me to watch, because obviously my intelligence was way too high to be considered normal. But now I'm really good.
I'm glad you are aware of that. I don't know how to respond to that one, Raymond.
But yeah, Super Bowl was garbage as... Well, people like Super Bowl, and they're welcome to like Super Bowl, but I did not. What I meant was, I don't really care about Super Bowl. Let's talk about something that people actually care about.
Fair enough.
Well, before we wrap up the games section, has anybody heard any game announcements that have taken their interest in the last couple of weeks?
2077 or Riot, as far as I'm concerned. I don't give a shit about any form of announcement until 2077. The game, not the year.
I thought I saw something just earlier. Let me see if I can find it again before I go running about.
I've actually got two. One that I just had found out had been already announced, but I found out about it recently. And the other one that actually was announced was PlanetSide Arena, which is essentially PlanetSide 3. To the point that it's actually out now, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so what is this PlanetSide Arena about?
So, for those that don't know, PlanetSide is an extremely large scale. Well, has as a series been extremely large scale FPS. So, PlanetSide 2 was a difficult to describe, like what you would exactly call it, but it was essentially a 6,000 person per match first-person shooter with a ongoing, persistent map. So you logged off, and the server was just running 24/7 on that one map, and you would log back in, and exactly how the battle had shifted it would be up to how everything went while you were offline, but you would be logging back in to continue fighting for the same team that you logged off in the same match, but just in a different place. It was arguably what they were calling an MMO FPS with like no RPG elements in it. It's just straight out here's an MMO FPS.
Oh, okay. So the entire game itself is all basically real time, and you can log out during the fight and log back in later on.
It was actually entirely the idea. The map was massive.
It was huge. Oh
yeah.
My god. It was so much fun. We only ever played on one continent, though, because of how bloody big it was.
So the problem, actually, yeah, that's the other thing. The map is actually multiple continents.
Oh, okay.
So that you're aware of just how big the battle was. Because they were trying to find enough space to spread out 6,000 people.
As you do.
Yeah. The big problem with it was that, first of all, it was extremely taxing on the computer.
Oh god,
at the
my
time that it came out.
fucking died.
And Australian internet was, at the point in time that PlanetSide 2 was the current game, dogshit. So, and by the time that those issues were no longer issues, the Australian player base was not particularly effective for filling out the map.
Ah, I see. That's a pain.
So I have to admit that's my biggest concern about another PlanetSide game, in this case not being called PlanetSide 3 but PlanetSide Arena. Yeah, it's my biggest concern that I don't know if the Australian player base is going to be big enough to keep it going. The other thing is that they're toning it down, that each server is actually only going to be 500 people, not 6,000. And
Oh, okay.
with it, they're going to be smaller maps. But the idea is that they will actually end. It won't just be one ongoing war, never-ending war. It will actually be here is a definitive end to it. I don't know if you guys ever played Mag when it was out on PS3, but from what I've heard, it's sounding a lot along the lines of what they did, which I thought actually worked really quite well, and I'm sort of interested. But again, it comes down to, do you have faith that there's going to be enough of an Australian player base to fill out the game to make it worth playing?
Yeah, it's always a difficult one, isn't it?
This game had a lot of potential. I don't know, was it... did it come out? Why? I just wanted to talk. Was it a case of they bit off too much they could chew? In regards to the scale and the amount they wanted to include in the game, and at the level they wanted to achieve with it.
I think 2 wasn't really a problem. It was just a problem in Australia. If you had been in the US, where there was a sizable, large enough player base and the internet wasn't dog shit, or if you were in Europe, again, where there's a sizable enough player base and again, internet's not as big of a problem, it's probably fine, and I suspect even today it's probably fine.
Oh, with their NBN, it'd probably be alright, it'd be playable. But the problem is that for the Australian community, the damage is done.
Yeah.
We're not coming back to that game. Sorry, PlanetSide. I love you.
I gotta admit, it would be very interesting to go into the next one and play it, but again, I don't
Doesn't
know.
Doesn't it have another Battle Royale mode?
So yes, that is the other thing. It's getting a Battle Royale mode as well, which sort of made sense for PlanetSide to do, because they've always been about massive maps. However, it doesn't make sense for them to be splitting it up into a Battle Royale within the storyline of the series.
The storyline is that there's 3 factions, and they're all at war and have been for quite a lot of time. Which is why it doesn't really make the most sense to have a free-for-all Battle Royale when you have 3 factions that are very clearly defined.
Yeah, so for Luke and Nick's benefit, the overall story of the PlanetSide series has been that humanity colonized another world via a wormhole and has since been cut off from Earth. And basically the population of that planet devolved into 3 separate factions. Like, no longer one unified thing. There's essentially the loyalists to the way that to what Earth's way of life, and that they should still be loyal ultimately to what Earth wanted. And then there's a more rebellious group that wants to reform and do what they want. I can't remember what it is. And then a third group that basically went off on, we found alien technology, so therefore we should just... Vanu. And then just super embrace alien culture.
Yeah, which is nice.
Okay.
Sovereignty, I think it's called the Sovereignty. The Sovereignty are the ones who want to be like Earth.
Yeah.
The Cybran, or the... something starting with C, but they're the slightly augmented robots, and they want to be their own people. And the Vanu are just, to put it how Tyson put it, alien fuckers.
Okay.
Yeah. So, interesting idea. It's tempting. It's currently it's actually out at the moment in early access with full release planned for March, but it is also currently $30 to buy it.
interesting.
Okay. That's very interesting.
It does. Because the way that they did the game, I really loved it. And I was so bitter when my laptop just died. The reason I have my box now is because of PlanetSide. It crippled my laptop to the point where I can't play it anymore.
PlanetSide 2 when it came out was a massive test of computer hardware, of like just how many frames you could get just loading into the game was basically a sign of strength of computer.
I believe I maintained the single digits for the entire time I played. While loading, of course.
PlanetSide would have also been a really good game to play as like guild or clan sized groups, because there was so much in it that was completely non-viable solo.
Oh yeah, they had like the Battlefield type clubbing up, like working in squads and shit, but they also had one step higher and had like a full faction, so you could have your squads and then you'd have a commander of all squads leading them.
Yeah, but like I remember that the top level, well, one of the bombers or whatever was seriously like 12 people.
Yeah, it was
like,
huge.
If you wanted to man every gun on that ship, on that airship, it was like 12 people to man the whole thing. So, like, yeah, it was solid scale. It's just hard to call whether or not the new one's going to be worth looking into without knowing what the player base is going to be like, and I hate to say it, I suspect there's a lot more than just us that are apprehensive about it for that reason. Anyway, the other one that I found out is coming this year is that we've actually got another Digimon game coming this year.
Oh, great.
I wish you will, I mean, I think this one actually looks really good.
They've been, for me, a very hit and miss.
That's fair.
Hit and miss.
So this one may yet get you back into it. You never know. I like how this one's going, because this one's going to have a grid battle system, isn't it?
I haven't looked super deep into it. I just didn't realise that there was one coming this year.
Didn't we have one last year?
We had a re-release or an expansion or something to one of them last year. So
yeah, I think to my knowledge, the reason why I like to look at this one is because it was very similar to the sort of grid-based fighters or strategy games you see in like take the Fire Emblem series and everything on the DS, or those are probably the most obvious ones. That style to me is something I enjoy. I imagine this game itself will be quite popular on the Switch for that reason. Because it's one of those games where you can if you can take it with you, and just basically play out your turns, like while you're sitting waiting for something. Those ones are best done on something like the Switch. Very soon it's coming to the Switch. But I haven't seen a lot of those style of games a lot lately, and while hanging out for the next Fire Emblem, I thought to myself that Digimon one would actually be a good little placeholder for the time being. Plus, the last few times I've tried to play a Digimon game, I've been turned off by the fact they've never dubbed it. So I'm like, I mean, I didn't play Next Order, but I tried to get into the Cyber Sleuth and all that back when those ones came out, and
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure Next Order was dubbed.
Next Order was, but I didn't feel like that style of gameplay at the time, so I haven't really taken it up. But
yeah.
all the ones prior to that, pretty much were just in Japanese, and it's like, I could play like that, but I could understand Digimon, because who the hell cares if you can understand Digimon? It's kind of like being able to understand a Pokemon. But I didn't like it in the character voices, and it was enough to turn me off ever actually finishing the games.
It's okay. You don't turn me off.
Thank you. It's good to know my voice doesn't have that effect. But that's what I'm looking. I hope they'll properly English dub this one, and I hope they stick to the grid format, because, in my opinion, they haven't done it in a lot of games recently, and I'd like to see it come back. That's what I'm holding out for with the game. If it probably doesn't end up that way, I'll probably just end up boycotting it.
Yeah, like Next Order got me really back into the series. Like I really enjoyed Next Order, which is, I haven't played the games in years, like any of the RPGs in years, and Next Order ate so much of my time, and I actually want to sit down and play through it again. But I don't know how I'm going to, well, when I'm going to be able to say, yeah, you know what, I'm prepared to sacrifice these 2 weeks.
I know that feeling.
So, seeing that there is another RPG that's not just a story RPG, but more of a side RPG, which have been hit and miss in my opinion. Like, there have been some quite good ones and some not so good ones in my opinion. But yeah, having one of them, it's like this could be good. This could be good. It's sort of on my ones to watch list. Like dubbing it alone is not gonna throw me off, as long as if there ends up being good subtitles at the least, because I got to the stage that I've started, well, for some of the actual anime, I started watching it subbed rather than dubbed, because I realised I just hated what they were doing with it.
And I can agree with you there. Some things like that are worthwhile. It was just for me in those original games when I really wanted to get back into Digimon, and I was met with that. I thought, it's just not enough for me to get back into it, and I boycotted it.
If you haven't played Next Order, I do strongly recommend it, and it might be what gives me the motivation to play it again if there is somebody else that's getting into it.
I do need to give it its time in the spotlight. And to be honest, maybe it might not be a bad idea to play another Digimon game before this new one comes out. Might get me back in the groove for actually enjoying all things Digimon again. But I'll let you know if I end up picking it up.
If you do, let me know. I will actually. I think that will be the one of. You know what? I'll play it alongside. We can compare notes.
If I remember correctly, you had a lot of notes, so maybe you'll just be stealing notes as opposed to writing any.
There's part of me that wants to do it as a blind playthrough, because like it's a series that always gets spreadsheety. And there's part of me that wants to do it as a blind playthrough, promising myself not to do that, but I'm not going to be able to resist, because it will get to the stage that I want to start targeting specific things and start being reasonably efficient about things. And yeah, that's the point where it will get spreadsheety.
That's all right. We will compare notes. That I can promise. Yours more than mine.
You are going to copy my homework.
Exactly right.
So what about you guys? Have you seen any announcements in the last month?
I wouldn't say they're announcements, but thank you, Raymond. I did catch that. I forget when the release date is. It's soon, but they're releasing. It's sort of like an intermittent Persona game called Persona Q2 Labyrinth. When they originally released the first one of it, it was back on, I think it may have been just back on the DS. I never got the chance to play it, but this time around, I'm keen to play this one because even though it's not going to be dubbed, it is going to be primarily focused around the P5 gang, and that to me is enough for me to jump into it, because like, hey, I get another game I get to play as Joker. Why the hell not? It's part of the reason why when they eventually release it, I'll probably get the remastered Catherine game, because you'll be able to play as Joker as the main character. Because Vincent's not that great. I'm
starting to suspect that Joker's your spirit animal.
Well, when they release him for Smash, that will probably be the first character I buy. He's my favorite character. But yeah, I'm thinking I'll pick it up this time around because even though I just had a big spiel then saying I don't like playing games too much that are only dubbed, I actually don't mind watching some of the Persona series in in subs. It's just some of the stuff comes across better. I think it'd be from what I've heard from the previous game, it was really good, and this one's said to be even better. So I'm planning on giving it a try, but ultimately it's just because Joker's in it. Other than that, I did see a post just the other day for the Sekiro. What was it? What's the title? Shadows Die Twice. I believe that's the little subtitle it has to it. You'll like this, Nick. Apparently, the game is said to be even more difficult than the Dark Souls and Bloodborne series.
Good.
So it'll be a nice welcome challenge to the fact that we haven't had anything that's rivaled those games in that particular playstyle before. Apparently, the trick to the game will be mastering how to use your hand weapons. But from what I've seen from some demo stuff of it, that's not going to be very easy. So I'm actually really keen for the game. I think the way it plays is going to be a nice change, also from what the Dark Souls and Bloodborne series do, where they base it off of you're just basically in the eyes of the people you're fighting, you're some crazed hunter. In this case, you literally will be a crazed hunter. It's not just hunters versus hunters. It's actually more like you've been wronged. Just go on a frenzy, kill whoever you want. It's your right. I think that's going to be a cool little thing, and from some of the assassination things you can do with players is really brutal. I'm looking forward to it.
Alright. Well, sounds like Luke's got himself a little bit of a JRPG lineup.
Damn straight. And more to come.
Nick, you got anything planned out?
No, not really. Once I'm finished up moving, it'll be pretty much just Kingdom Hearts until either something else comes out or until I finish that, really. Try not to start too many things at once, otherwise I don't finish anything.
Yeah, Nick's being the opposite of us, Cameron. He's actually trying to finish the games he has, whereas we're just building on our list and saying, I'm never going to finish this list, so I'll just keep adding to it, and that will be my way of success.
I would say for shame, but I'm pretty sure the rest of us are just adding to our piles of shame.
It's a huge shame. But I like my shame, and that's why I add to it.
I have never added to my pile at all. Just cut out that bit, I think it was an hour ago, where I said, I don't play a game if I don't want to finish it because I know it's going to be good. Just cut that out.
And here we learn the hypocritical state. Well, because it will be the hot topic when the next one of these comes round.
Ooh.
Captain Marvel will be hitting cinemas around about then.
Hey.
Seen as a bean.
Captain Marvel release date 6th of March. Do you fucking intend on posting this in the 6th of March?
Oh, well, there you go. It will have actually already come and gone by then.
I say, Cam, no, we're posting this in like a couple of days, a week, something like that.
Yeah, but I mean, by the time we do by the time we have our March catch up, that movie will have come and gone, and I would argue probably one of the big releases for the year.
You know what else is a big release?
What?
Alita, Battle Angel.
I'm looking forward to that one only because I haven't had a nice animated fighting movie that I actually like the look of in quite a while.
And this looks crisp.
Are we sure we're calling it an animated movie and not just heavy CGI?
One character is fully animated with goo eyes. Everyone else is people. The other robots.
And outside of her eyes, which apparently some people like, most people don't.
Did you see a picture of her first set of eyes?
I did.
They were horrifying.
Even I have to admit it was a bit horrid. The one she has now, I don't think are that bad.
I like her.
It's kind of like
I'll take her to dinner.
Exactly. I would have her. I would have her protect me.
I mean, it looks like she'll probably kill me later on. But hey, look, we don't know the plot of the story.
She'll only kill you if you talk about her eyes.
I don't want to cut out her eyes. They're the least robotic feature of her.
Very true.
Yes.
I did read somewhere that some people said that the only thing that they were disappointed about with the movie was that apparently they've stacked a lot of content into the one movie that realistically could have been across like 4.
I didn't know if they were going to get another movie. That's the
problem
with that's the problem with movies that don't follow the hero genre. We don't know if they're going to get a sequel or not.
Yeah, that's the difficult part. But to be fair, there's still more stuff they can build on. There's still going to be more movies. People just, I think, were disappointed that they realized, oh, hang on, they didn't think they were going to do that. They were probably going to have Flash at their first showing, and turns out, oh, this thing is a hit. Oh, we used up a lot of our content already.
I'm pretty sure there's a lot more content that they can.
There is a lot more content.
It's a book series, isn't it?
I think this only covers like the first 4 volumes, so there's still plenty to go.
Alright, well that's alright then. If it does well, and I really hope it does, because it looks like a different type of movie to ones that we're used to, i.e. the Marvel Universe.
Exactly right. Yeah, I'm really looking
concerned, anything different to that is a breath of fresh air.
Exactly. And the best of all, because it falls on February 14, I don't need to worry about not having a Valentine. Aelita will be my Valentine. And I will watch her in action.
She'll be my Valentine.
You can play the harmonica now, Raymond.
We will share her.
Play the harmonica. We're talking about Aelita Battle Angel and how she's going to be my Valentine's Day. Yes. Right. What else is in the movie world?
Well, while I was down visiting Nick a few weeks ago, Nick and I went and saw the new Dragon Ball Super Broly movie.
Uh-huh.
And I shared with Nick my excitement going into the movie and leaving it. So he knows I enjoyed it. The part I liked the most was actually how to me all the animated fight scenes in it almost look like they were taken out of the what would you call it?
Original manga.
No, it's actually built upon that. Built high up now. Have you seen any of the fighting game? Is it the Dragon Ball Fighter Z? Is that what they call it?
Yeah. Pseudo RNG.
Yes. Pretty much. It's like the animated fights from those ones have basically been perfectly woven into the movie, in full 3D high def, and it looks amazing. The only thing Nick and I found a bit interesting when we went into the movie was, and we weren't expecting it, is that they handed us a kickoff to a trading card game.
Excellent.
Pack when we walked into the movie, which Nick and I said, "Oh, we'll worry about it later."
I haven't got that since either the Pokemon movies or the Yu-Gi-Oh!
No, it's been so long.
Yes.
The only thing
Nick's just like, yes.
No, it's a neat little thing reminding you back to the old days.
Exactly. I mean, to be fair, it probably will become a card game thing, but Nick and I just have our own little tokens now, which is nice.
What tokens again? Sorry, I missed the start of that. I was coughing again.
Oh, that's all right. When Nick and I went to see the movie, we were handed basically a small pack of trading cards for with basically saying this Dragon Ball is going to turn into a trading card game.
Nice, another one.
Another one, yeah. It didn't look too bad actually. They gave you the 2 key characters from the movie in the card. So Nick and I were a little bit disappointed when we were like, "Oh, I'll show you off, I'll show you yours." And at the end of it, thank God, no.
Hey, fuck off! Krillin's the best. Actually, I prefer Piccolo. Did you get Piccolo?
No.
They gave us face cutouts of them, but not full cards.
Oh, wait, what? What's the point?
I don't understand that one either.
Fuck off.
But actually, the part I loved the most about the movie was actually the soundtrack that they played, the Blizzard song. That thing was crisp. It was brilliant.
Blizzard song?
Yes.
Yep. It's just someone in the Overwatch thing playing the piano.
Oh fuck yes, that's my cup of tea.
I don't even know how you get to that.
Winston playing Overwatch. The Overwatch piano. I'd watch it. Damn.
But the other thing too about it was that they have both the Japanese and the English dub version of the song, and during the showing we went to, because it was an English dub showing, we got to hear the English version of the song, which was nice. It was
Good.
I really enjoyed it. It has a very elegant tune to it. I've already got my copy of it and I've listened to it several times already. It is my daily wake up and the one I listen to before I go to bed. It is. Brilliant.
I have a Saiyan Pride, the super version of Saiyan Pride, as my alarm.
Oh really?
Which is the piano riff, which Vegeta has when he's fighting off Toppo. Back at the end of the Tournament of Power. I quite like that piano riff. It's quite nice.
Does it give you the motivation to get up and yell and then go on with your day?
I don't know about yelling, but yes.
Fair enough. Just get up and go with your day. I'll get up and yell.
Fucking then get a report from your neighbours. Mike's being really disruptive and yelling at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, he's just powering up. Why does he power up for several hours? Yeah,
because he doesn't want to go to work.
It's similar to the episodes. It takes a few episodes to power up.
It isn't a week long.
It takes a week to power up.
And then you've got to power down.
Oh,
because it's the end of the week. You can't go playing games at Super Saiyan 3 or 2.
Why
break
not?
the controller.
The other thing I liked about it too, without giving away any spoilers for those of you that haven't seen it, I liked how they paired off on the ending with some of the key characters to extend on into more Dragon Ball
TV
Super
series, right? But they haven't left it closed off. It's open for them to continue the series.
Exactly right. And
music to my ears.
And everyone in the theatre, particularly the guys behind us, who were basically, I almost swear they were looking to go Super Saiyan for most of the movie. They were funny. They were a funny lot. They were ecstatic when they realized how much of a cliffhanger they left at the end of the movie for the next installment. And I'm super keen for it as well. I can't
music
wait.
to my fucking ears.
But yeah, Nick, did you have a similar opinion of it? Did you like it as much as I did?
Yeah, no, I thought it was pretty good. I liked the bit I enjoyed the most, which I remember the most about it, is the bit where they were doing the fight and then they sort of went to a first-person mode and just started showing you fight from, like, they were just watching. I mean, it was Broly beating the crap out of Goku, but still, it was first person. Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. They're all going to get beaten up until they use their Super Saiyan thing.
And then they remarkably heal as they go up in levels.
Oh yeah, because stamina's a magic bar. You just got to stay out of combat for 2 seconds and your bar starts to regenerate.
Exactly.
Or yell a little bit and you'll get it back.
Have you not played Dark Souls? All you need to do is walk away from combat for like 10 seconds and your stamina bar is ready to go.
Yep, and you're back in there like nothing ever happened.
Nothing ever happened.
Minus a bit of health.
Yeah.
Health? What health?
Yeah.
The stuff that sensu beans heal, if there were sensu beans.
Alright, guys. We are just short of 2 hours looking at the clock on the record time, which...
That's wankable.
We probably should wrap this one up for the month, and we'll be back at it again for March.
I thought you were about to go for Mark. Yeah, right, we'll come back for Mark.
Yeah, for Mark.
Once Mark gets back, we'll come back and do this all again.
This next podcast... Codpast. The next
know what you want to play?
Cod
We're gonna have Snapper
is
next.
Called Stronk Send Help. Podcast will be called Mark in March. Or Marching in Mark, depending on how you want to do it. Or Mark, for that matter.
Right. Not sure I can support this.
I can.
He may yet cut it.
Alright. So, in the event that anybody is watching this far into the podcast, just
I love you.
Well done.
As an FYI, March is going to be our first month of our new schedule for content, and we will be introducing a Civil War series where we try to kill one another more than usual.
Not in real life, kids.
I would like to do it because I feel like shit.
And what? And we will also be issuing the most painful and difficult challenges we can think of to one another for even more hatred.
Suck a camel dick.
We already know what Raymond's after.
I was going to do like a basic hot chili challenge, but if you want to go into like
last time you tried that, you had a moment.
Yeah, Nick's going to issue that everybody has to eat chili.
The same one I had at Echo.
Lots and lots of devil's doo-doo.
August to do that.
Alright, guys. So, thanks for coming, and we will catch you next time.
Thanks for having me, Cameron.
Why'd you say thanks for having me, Cam? Why? Are you high?